Have you ever witnessed a shark becoming ensnared amidst the bars while attempting to attack tourists? Sharks are unpredictable creatures capable of launching surprise attacks, even within the perceived safety of a cage. Delve deeper into these encounters as we recount the tales featured in this video. Jack's love for the ocean began long before he could even walk. Born and raised in the coastal town of Kaikoura, New Zealand, he was surrounded by the salty sea air and the rhythmic crash of the waves from a young age. His family, a tight-knit group of adventurers and nature enthusiasts, instilled in him a deep appreciation for the natural world and a thirst for exploration. Growing up, Jack spent countless hours exploring the rocky shores and sandy beaches that bordered his hometown. His parents, avid divers themselves, introduced him to the wonders of the underwater world at an early age, teaching him to snorkel and dive in the crystal-clear waters of the Pacific Ocean. Jack found his true passion here among the vibrant coral reefs and teeming schools of fish. As he grew older, Jack's thirst for adventure only intensified. He devoured books and documentaries about marine life, immersing himself in the fascinating world of sharks, whales, and dolphins that inhabited the waters off the coast of New Zealand. But it wasn't until his teenage years that Jack's true calling revealed itself. At age 16, Jack embarked on his first scuba diving excursion, a life-changing experience that would set him on a path of discovery and adventure. Under the guidance of experienced instructors, he learned the ins and outs of diving, mastering the art of buoyancy control, navigation, and underwater communication. But it wasn't just the technical aspects of diving that captivated Jack. The sense of freedom and exhilaration that came with exploring the ocean's depths, a vast and untamed wilderness teeming with life and mystery. From that moment on, he knew he was destined to become a diver, to explore the far reaches of the underwater world and uncover its hidden secrets. With a newfound sense of purpose, Jack devoted himself to his training, spending hours honing his skills and perfecting his technique. He earned his scuba certification and embarked on countless diving expeditions, from the colorful coral reefs of the South Pacific to the icy depths of the Southern Ocean. Each dive brought new challenges and discoveries, fueling Jack's passion for exploration and pushing him to new heights of daring. But despite his many adventures, one experience had always eluded Jack: cage diving with great white sharks. It was a dream he had harbored since childhood, a chance to come face to face with one of the ocean's most fearsome predators in its natural habitat. And now, with his skills and experience as a diver, Jack was ready to make that dream a reality. Jack was on a trip to Australia when the opportunity presented itself. He had always known that great white sharks frequently visit the ocean in Australia in search of food. He assembled a small team of experienced divers and marine biologists, determined to take advantage of this opportunity. Jack didn't have much time to spend in Australia, so the preparations were made in just a day, and they were all set for the expedition by the next day. But despite that, he felt a surge of excitement coursing through his veins whenever his mind thought of the expedition. He knew the coming hours would be filled with uncertainty and danger, but he was undeterred. For Jack, the thrill of exploration was worth any risk. The crew drove the vessel to a length before Jack was lowered into the water. He was in an iron cage with his diving device plugged into his back. Jack's heart raced with excitement as he descended into the ocean's depths, surrounded by the vast expanse of cerulean blue. Inside the sturdy shark cage, he felt a sense of exhilaration mingled with anticipation, eager to come face to face with the ocean's most formidable predator, the great white shark. Despite being a seasoned diver and adventurer, this was his ultimate thrill, a chance to witness these apex predators' raw power and majesty up close. Jack's senses heightened as the cage descended deeper into the abyss, and every shadow and movement beneath the waves captured his attention. He knew the risks involved in diving with sharks, but the allure of the unknown drew him further into the depths, his curiosity driving him forward with unwavering determination. A bait consisting of meat coated in blood was suspended in the water. Jack waited with bated breath, his eyes scanning the surrounding waters for any sign of movement. Minutes stretched into eternity as he watched and waited, the anticipation building with each passing moment, and then it happened. A shadow emerged from the depths, sleek and powerful, its form unmistakable even from a distance. Jack's heart skipped a beat as he realized the moment he had been waiting for was finally at hand. The great white shark, the ocean's apex predator, had arrived. With a surge of adrenaline, Jack adjusted his camera settings, eager to capture every moment of the encounter. But as he focused his lens on the approaching shark, his excitement turned to horror. The massive predator lurched forward with lightning speed, its jaws snapping shut on the bait with deadly precision. Jack thought, as you also will, that the shark had got the meat and everything would go well. But in its eagerness to claim its prize, the great white shark overshot its mark, crashing headlong into the sturdy metal bars of the cage. The impact sent shock waves reverberating through the water, jolting Jack from his reverie and filling him with dread. Jack's heart raced with growing terror as the cage shuddered under the force of the collision. The great white shark's head now loomed within the confined space, its menacing presence sending chills down his spine. With a throbbing head injury from the impact, panic surged through him as he watched the predator thrash and lunge, its mighty jaws mere inches away. In the dim light filtering through the water, Jack could see his blood clouding the surroundings, a grim reminder of his vulnerability. Every movement seemed to draw the shark closer, its senses undoubtedly heightened by the scent of fresh blood. Desperation clawed at Jack's mind as he searched for a way to escape the imminent danger. With each passing moment, the confines of the cage felt more like a prison, trapping him with an apex predator. Fear and adrenaline coursed through his veins, heightening his senses as he braced himself for the inevitable confrontation. In the ocean's depths, Jack faced a harrowing battle for survival against nature's most formidable predator, with each heartbeat echoing the ticking clock of his fate. Desperation clawed at Jack's mind as he searched for a way to escape the metal jaws of his underwater prison. With each passing moment, the shark grew more agitated, its primal instincts driving it to seek freedom at any cost. Jack knew he had to act fast if he had any hope of survival. Then he remembered he had entered the cage through a door, and luckily enough it was at his back, not the side the shark had its head in. With that, he unlatched the door, exited it swiftly, and swam upward with his might. He didn't even look back at the cage or the shark. That was because he could hear the muffled thrashing of the great white shark behind him. Its attempts to break free grew more frantic by the second. As he breached the water, gasping for air, Jack was greeted by the blinding light of the sun and the safety of the boat waiting above. With trembling limbs, he clambered aboard, his heart still racing with the adrenaline of his harrowing escape. As he collapsed onto the deck, surrounded by the concerned faces of his fellow divers, Jack couldn't help but marvel at the sheer power and unpredictability of the ocean. He had come face to face with the jaws of death and emerged victorious, a survivor of the depths of the sea. But as he lay there, battered and bruised from the sudden slam, Jack knew that the memory of his encounter with the great white shark would stay with him forever, a reminder of the fragility of life and the indomitable spirit of survival that dwelled within him. And though he would continue to seek adventure in the ocean's depths, he would always approach it with a newfound respect for the creatures that called it home. Sarah sat in her office at the Institute for Marine Life in America, poring over the latest research findings on shark behavior. As a marine biologist with a passion for conservation, she had dedicated her career to studying these majestic creatures, striving to unravel the mysteries of their behavior and protect their delicate ecosystems. But when her department head approached her with a new assignment, Sarah's excitement quickly turned to trepidation. Her boss demanded she undertake a mission to study the sharks in their natural habitat. Sarah's heart sank at the prospect. She knew firsthand the dangers of working with sharks, their razor-sharp teeth and powerful jaws constantly threatening even the most experienced divers. She protested at the boss, letting him know she wasn't fit for such a daring mission. Her department head nodded sympathetically, understanding her concerns. However, the mission being crucial for their research efforts, her expertise in shark behavior makes her the ideal candidate. Despite her reservations, Sarah reluctantly agreed to consider the mission, hoping her department head would understand her decision. But to her dismay, the matter was far from settled. A few days later, Sarah was again summoned to her department head's office. This time, his voice had a sense of urgency as he explained the situation, and he told her she had been chosen to lead the research effort. Sarah's heart sank as she realized that her protests had fallen on deaf ears. She knew she had to accept the assignment, no matter how daunting it seemed. With a heavy heart, Sarah began to prepare for the mission ahead, gathering supplies and reviewing her training for the challenges ahead. Despite her fears, she was determined to approach the mission with caution and professionalism and make the most of the opportunity she had been given. On a crisp morning off the coast of South Africa, Sarah embarked on a research expedition to study great white sharks in their natural environment. Armed with state-of-the-art equipment and a team of seasoned divers, she descended into the shark-infested waters aboard her research submersible, the Ocean Explorer. Sarah's excitement mingled with anticipation as the submersible descended deeper into the abyss. The waters off the coast of South Africa were renowned for their abundance of marine life, and she relished the opportunity to observe these apex predators in their element. Little did she know that her expedition would soon take a terrifying turn. As the Ocean Explorer reached its target depth, Sarah's trained eyes scanned the surrounding waters for any sign of movement. Minutes stretched into eternity as she waited, her heart pounding with anticipation. And then it happened. A massive shadow emerged from the depths, gliding effortlessly through the water with a grace that belied its immense size. Sarah's breath caught in her throat as she realized she was face to face with a great white shark, the ocean's ultimate predator. With a sense of awe and reverence, Sarah watched as the shark circled closer, its cold, dead eyes fixed upon her with an intensity that sent shivers down her spine. But her wonder quickly turned to horror when the unthinkable happened. In a sudden violent motion, the great white shark lunged at the submersible, its mighty jaws snapping shut on the reinforced hull with a loud clang. Sarah's heart raced as she realized that the predator was now trapped inside the Ocean Explorer with her, its thrashing movements threatening to tear through the metal and seal her fate. Panic surged through Sarah's veins as she frantically assessed her options. The submersible's cramped confines offered little room for maneuverability, and the shark's frenzied movements made every moment a battle for survival. With each passing second, the risk of the predator breaking through the hull grew more imminent. Summoning all her courage, Sarah sprang into action, navigating the claustrophobic confines of the submersible with speed and precision. With each movement, she could feel the shark's presence looming just beyond the thin metal walls, its primal instincts driving it to seek freedom at any cost. But Sarah refused to let fear dictate her actions. She carefully plotted her escape with nerves of steel, searching for any potential means of outmaneuvering the enraged predator. With quick thinking and steady hands, she activated the submersible's emergency release mechanism, hoping to create a diversion to buy her precious seconds to formulate a plan. Sarah seized the opportunity as the emergency alarms blared and the hatch swung open. She darted out of the submersible, her heart pounding in her chest as she propelled herself toward the relative safety of the open water. Sarah was determined not to become another victim of the ocean's wrath. With every ounce of strength and determination, she pushed herself to the limits, racing toward the surface with a single-minded focus on survival. As she breached the water, gasping for air, Sarah felt a sense of triumph wash over her. As she was pulled aboard the safety of the research vessel, Sarah couldn't help but marvel at the sheer power and unpredictability of the ocean. She had come face to face with the ultimate predator and lived to tell the tale, a survivor of the depths of the sea. But even as she caught her breath and reflected on the harrowing ordeal beneath the waves, Sarah knew that her work was far from over. With renewed determination, she vowed to continue her research and advocacy for the protection of sharks and the delicate ecosystems they inhabit, driven by a profound respect for the ocean and its inhabitants that would stay with her for the rest of her days. Tom leaned back in his chair, the soft glow of the computer screen casting shadows across his face. For years, he had been one of Hollywood's go-to underwater videographers, his name synonymous with breathtaking aquatic cinematography. From dazzling coral reefs to the depths of the abyss, Tom had captured it all on film, earning accolades and acclaim from critics and audiences alike. But when he received information about his latest assignment, a chill ran down his spine. He had been tasked with filming great white sharks in their natural habitat for an upcoming docuseries, which filled him with excitement and trepidation. As he read through the briefing notes, Tom couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. Unlike his previous projects, this one would require him to rely solely on his skills as a filmmaker, with no special effects or CGI to enhance the footage. It was a daunting prospect. For days, Tom wrestled with his fears, the image of a massive great white shark looming large in his mind. He knew the dangers of working with these apex predators, their razor-sharp teeth and lightning-fast reflexes posing a constant threat to even the most experienced divers. But he also understood the importance of the project, a chance to shed light on the misunderstood creatures that stalk the ocean's depths. With a deep breath, Tom made a decision. He would face his fears head-on, diving into the heart of the unknown with courage and determination. Armed with his camera and a steely resolve, he set out to capture the beauty and majesty of the great white shark like never before. Tom's heart pounded as he descended into the ocean's murky depths, his camera rig securely fastened to his body. The anticipation of capturing footage of great white sharks in their natural habitat was exhilarating, but he knew the risks too well. As an experienced underwater videographer, Tom had encountered many challenges beneath the waves, but nothing could prepare him for what was about to unfold. The ocean floor stretched before him, a surreal landscape of vibrant corals and darting fish. Tom carefully maneuvered through the water, his camera rolling, capturing every mesmerizing detail. But his sense of wonder quickly turned to alarm when he spotted the unmistakable silhouette of a massive great white shark gliding effortlessly through the water. Instinct kicked in as Tom adjusted his camera settings, determined to document this rare encounter. He had studied these apex predators for years, fascinated by their power and grace. But as the shark drew nearer, Tom felt a surge of adrenaline course through his veins. He knew he had to be cautious and respectful of the animal's territory. While he was capturing all these videos, one of the sharks got entangled with cables from his underwater camera rig. This is synonymous with being captured in a net. This shark wriggled with all its might, and Tom, who had strapped the wire on his body, suffered the consequence. Panic flooded his mind as he tried to escape the wriggling force, but it was far from over. With a violent jerk, Tom was dragged into the darkness below, his vision clouded by a whirlwind of bubbles and debris. As he plummeted more profoundly into the abyss, Tom's thoughts raced. He struggled to free himself from the wild creature, but its force was immense. When he discovered that his air supply dwindled with each passing second and the pressure of the ocean bearing down on him, Tom knew he had to make a quick decision, or else he'd die due to loss of oxygen. Desperate, he reached for his utility knife, frantically slashing at the tangled mass of cables ensnaring him. But the shark lurked in the shadows, its presence ever ominous. Tom could feel its cold gaze upon him, a primal instinct urging him to fight or flee. With renewed determination, he hacked away at the cables, his lungs burning for precious oxygen. Tom's chest heaved with exertion as he trod water, scanning the horizon for any sign of the great white shark. The adrenaline coursing through his veins masked the pain radiating from his limbs, a testament to his sheer will to survive. But even as he fought to catch his breath, he couldn't shake the feeling of being hunted. Minutes stretched into eternity as Tom waited, his senses on high alert for any sudden movement beneath the waves. The ocean churned with an eerie stillness, starkly contrasting the chaos unfolding moments before. But just as he began to hope for a reprieve, a shadow loomed beneath him, dark and foreboding. With a sinking heart, Tom realized that the great white shark had returned, drawn by the scent of blood and the promise of prey. Panic threatened to overwhelm him again, but he forced himself to remain calm and reason in the face of imminent danger. Drawing upon his years of experience, Tom remembered the cardinal rule of encountering sharks: never show fear. With this mantra echoing in his mind, he locked eyes with the predator below, willing himself to appear confident and unyielding. For a tense moment, the shark hovered just below the surface, its gaze piercing through the depths with an unnerving intensity. Tom held his breath, ready to react at a moment's notice. But then, as suddenly as it had appeared, the shark veered away, disappearing into the depths once more. Relief washed over Tom in a wave of gratitude, mingled with profound awe for the creatures that roamed these waters. Despite the harrowing encounter, he couldn't deny the beauty and majesty of the ocean and its inhabitants. With trembling hands, Tom checked his camera, relieved to find it still intact despite its ordeal. The footage captured would serve as a testament to his bravery and resilience, a reminder of the thin line between life and death beneath the waves. As he began the ascent back to the surface, Tom couldn't help but reflect on the fragility of human existence in the face of nature's raw power. But he also felt a newfound sense of purpose, a determination to continue exploring the ocean's mysteries, undeterred by the dangers within its depths. With each stroke of his weary limbs, Tom moved closer to the surface, towards the light and safety that awaited him above. And though the great white shark memory would haunt his dreams for years to come, he knew that he had faced his fears and emerged victorious, a true survivor of the depths of terror. Emma, a sophomore at a university in Johannesburg, sat in her dorm room scrolling through her social media feed, idly tapping through photos and updates from friends. As she scrolled, her eyes caught on an advertisement that quickened her heartbeat. An opportunity to explore the underwater world while safely ensconced within a shark cage. And to top it off, there was a discount offer. The image of the clear blue ocean and the promise of adventure sparked something within Emma. She had always been drawn to the ocean, its vastness and mystery calling to her in a way nothing else did. But the idea of coming face to face with sharks, even from the safety of a cage, filled her with excitement and trepidation. However, the discount offer was too good to pass up, especially since Emma had just been paid from her part-time job at a local store. The idea of using her hard-earned money to embark on an adventure of a lifetime was irresistible. With trembling fingers, Emma clicked on the advertisement, her heart racing with anticipation. She read through the details of the offer, picturing herself submerged beneath the waves, surrounded by the beauty and wonder of the underwater world. Emma filled out the booking form without hesitating, her excitement building with each mouse click. As she entered her payment information, she couldn't help but feel a sense of exhilaration coursing through her veins. This was the chance she had been waiting for, to experience something truly extraordinary. Within minutes, Emma received a confirmation email, her heart soaring as she read through the details of her upcoming adventure. She had done it. She had taken the first step towards fulfilling her dream of exploring the ocean depths. Emma could hardly contain her excitement in the days leading up to the excursion. She pored over maps of the dive site, researching the marine life she might encounter and mentally preparing herself for the adventure ahead. Despite her nerves, she knew that this was an opportunity she couldn't afford to miss. Finally, the day of the dive arrived, and Emma found herself standing on the boat's deck, the salt air tangy on her lips and the ocean lapping against the hull, soothing her nerves. With each passing moment, her anticipation grew until, finally, it was time to descend into the depths. Emma's anticipation grew with each passing moment as the boat cut through the waves. She couldn't wait to descend into the depths and witness these majestic creatures in their natural habitat. Little did she know that her excitement would soon give way to sheer terror. The boat came to a stop, and Emma felt a surge of adrenaline course through her veins as she gazed out at the vast expanse of the ocean. The crew wasted no time lowering the cage into the water and securing it to the side of the boat with thick ropes. Emma donned her wetsuit and diving gear, her hands trembling with excitement and nerves. With a final reassuring smile from the crew, Emma descended into the cage, the cool water enveloping her body like a second skin. As she submerged beneath the surface, a sense of awe washed over her, the ocean alive with vibrant colors and teeming with life. But her sense of wonder quickly turned to alarm when she spotted a shadow moving in the distance, growing larger and larger with each passing second. A hush fell over the boat as the crew and fellow tourists watched in awe as a colossal great white shark breached the surface in a display of raw power. Emma's heart skipped a beat as she realized the enormity of the creature before her, its massive jaws opening and closing with deadly precision. Time seemed to stand still for a moment as Emma and the shark locked eyes, a primal instinct urging her to flee. But before she could react, disaster struck. With a thunderous crash, the great white shark slammed into the cage, its massive bulk sending shock waves through the water. Emma was thrown against the metal bars, her breath catching in her throat as she struggled to comprehend what was happening. Panic surged through Emma's veins as she realized she was trapped inside the cage with the apex predator. The metal bars groaned under the pressure, threatening to buckle at any moment. With each passing second, the water filled with bubbles and debris, obscuring her vision and heightening her dread. Summoning all her courage, Emma fought against the rising tide of fear threatening to consume her. She knew that she had to remain calm, to reason in the face of imminent danger. With trembling hands, she reached for the emergency release mechanism, praying that it would still function despite the chaos unfolding around her. But as she struggled to free herself, Emma felt a powerful force slam into the cage again, sending shards of metal flying through the water. The world spun around her as the cage lurched sideways, the ocean closing around her like a suffocating embrace. Desperation clawed at Emma's mind as she searched for an escape route, her lungs burning for precious oxygen. In a last-ditch effort, she reached for her diving knife and slashed at the ropes tethering the cage to the boat above. With each stroke, she felt a glimmer of hope flicker to life within her, a beacon of light amidst the darkness. Finally, with adrenaline-fueled strength, Emma broke free from the cage's confines, her body propelled toward the surface. As she breached the water, gasping for air, she was greeted by the sight of the boat looming above her, its crew shouting words of encouragement. With trembling limbs, Emma reached out for the outstretched hands of the crew, her fingers grasping onto safety with desperate hunger. As she was pulled aboard the boat, she collapsed onto the deck, her body racked with exhaustion and relief. As she lay there, trembling and spent, Emma couldn't help but marvel at the sheer power and unpredictability of the ocean. She had faced death head-on and emerged victorious, a survivor of the harrowing ordeal that had unfolded beneath the waves. But even as she caught her breath, Emma knew that the memory of that fateful day would linger with her forever, a constant reminder of the thin line between life and death in the depths of the ocean. Since escaping from the deep water, Emma has never tried to explore it again. For years, Mike had been a renowned wildlife capture specialist, traveling the world to capture exotic animals for zoos, research institutes, and conservation efforts. From the dense jungles of Africa to the icy tundras of the Arctic, he had faced countless challenges and dangers in pursuit of his quarry. But the task before him was perhaps the most daunting yet: capturing a great white shark for research purposes. He knew capturing a great white shark would not be easy, but he was up for the challenge. After all, he had conquered the wilds of the forest and the ocean's depths before. This would be no different. With a sense of determination, Mike accepted the assignment, his mind already racing with plans and strategies for accomplishing the task at hand. He knew capturing a great white shark would require careful planning and precision, but he was confident in his abilities as a hunter and tracker. In the following days, Mike spared no expense in preparing for the mission. He assembled a team of experienced divers and researchers, each hand-picked for their expertise and dedication to the task. Finally, the day of the expedition arrived, and Mike and his team set out into the open ocean, their sights set on the elusive great white shark. For days, they searched tirelessly, scouring the depths for any sign of their prey. But their patience began to wear thin as the days turned into weeks. Just when all hope was lost, a breakthrough came. A sighting of a massive great white shark prowling the waters off the coast of Florida. With renewed determination, Mike and his team sprang into action, setting their plan into motion with precision and skill. Using a combination of bait and underwater traps, they lured the shark in close, their hearts pounding with anticipation as they watched from the safety of their boat. And then, in a flash of movement, the shark took the bait, its massive form surging through the water with breathtaking speed. But as the sun dipped below the horizon, their patience was rewarded. With a mighty pull, the trap was triggered and the crew erupted into cheers as they reeled in their prize, a massive great white shark thrashing wildly against the confines of its captivity. For a moment, Mike felt a surge of triumph coursing through his veins as he gazed upon the creature he had spent so long pursuing. But his victory was short-lived. As the crew worked to secure the shark for transport, disaster struck. With a sudden lurch, the beast broke free from its restraints, its mighty jaws snapping shut with deadly force. Panic swept through the crew as they scrambled to regain control, but it was too late. In a swift motion, the great white shark turned the tables, its gaze locking onto Mike with an intensity that sent shivers down his spine. Mike felt the cold grip of fear tightening around his heart for the first time. He had spent years hunting sharks, but now he found himself facing the very creature he had sought to capture. As the great white shark circled closer, its predatory instincts kicking into overdrive, Mike realized the gravity of his situation. He was no longer the hunter, he was hunted. Desperation clawed at Mike's mind as he searched for a way to escape the jaws of his trap. But with each passing moment, the shark drew closer, its razor-sharp teeth gleaming in the fading light. In a last-ditch effort, Mike reached for his harpoon gun, hoping to fend off the creature long enough to make his escape. Mike's heart raced as he gripped his harpoon gun, his fingers trembling with adrenaline-fueled anticipation. The monstrous shadow of the shark loomed beneath him, its dark form cutting through the azure depths of the ocean like a predator on the hunt. With a silent prayer, he aimed carefully, his muscles tensing as he prepared to strike. With a swift motion, he released the harpoon, his aim true as it sliced through the water with deadly accuracy. The barbed tip pierced the shark's head, embedding itself a little bit deep within the creature's flesh. Mike's heart soared with triumph, relief flooding through him as he watched the shark thrash in agony. But his elation was short-lived as the shark's frenzied movements turned towards him with sudden, ferocious intent. Before he could react, he was struck by the full force of the creature's wrath, his body spiraling through the water like a rag doll caught in a maelstrom. The impact was brutal, pain searing through him as he fought to maintain consciousness. The world spun around him in a dizzying blur as he struggled to orient himself amidst the chaos. Through the haze of agony, he felt hands grasping him, pulling him toward the surface with desperate urgency. Gasping for air, he was hauled aboard the crew's vessel, his body limp and battered from the ordeal. Panic surged through the crew as they worked frantically to revive him, their shouts echoing over the tumultuous waves. Time seemed to blur as Mike hovered on the brink of consciousness, the line between reality and delirium wavering precariously. But through the fog of pain, one thought burned with unwavering clarity: the harpoon, its poison coursing through the shark's veins, rendering the creature weak and vulnerable. As the crew secured the weakened shark for research, Mike's mind raced with a mixture of triumph and disbelief. Never had he imagined that his weapon of choice would backfire so spectacularly, endangering his own life in the process. Yet amidst the chaos and uncertainty, a glimmer of hope flickered, the knowledge that his actions had not been in vain. Despite the harrowing ordeal, Mike emerged from the depths with a newfound respect for the power of the ocean and its inhabitants. He knew that he would carry the scars of that fateful encounter for the rest of his days, a testament to the dangers that lurked beneath the surface. Every Sunday morning, while most families in the neighborhood were getting ready for church, Mia had a different kind of ritual. Instead of putting on her Sunday best and heading to the local church with her family, Mia would slip away quietly, her heart pounding with excitement as she made her way to the water's edge. Living just a stone's throw away from the shimmering blue expanse, Mia felt a magnetic pull towards the ocean. It called to her with its siren song, promising adventure and discovery just beyond the horizon. And so every Sunday she would grab her snorkel and fins, eager to explore the underwater world hidden beneath the surface. As Mia disappeared into the waves, her family would head off to church, leaving her to her own devices. But when they returned home, Mia would be waiting for them, her eyes sparkling with excitement as she regaled them with tales of her underwater expeditions. Her younger brother, Zach, would listen with rapt attention, hanging on her every word as she described the colorful coral reefs, exotic fish, and hidden treasures she had encountered on her adventures. He couldn't help but feel a twinge of jealousy, wishing he could join his sister on her aquatic escapades. Week after week, Zach begged and pleaded with his parents to let him accompany Mia on her Sunday excursions. At first, they were hesitant, worried about the ocean's dangers and the tide's unpredictable nature. But as Zach's persistence wore them down, they began to see the merit in his request. And so, one fateful Sunday morning, the family decided to skip church and explore the water together. With hearts full of anticipation, they gathered their snorkeling gear and made their way to the shoreline, eager to experience the ocean's wonders as a family. Mia prepared her snorkeling gear while her brother and parents relaxed on the shore. She slipped into her wetsuit, adjusted her mask, and secured her fins, excitement coursing through her veins at the thought of what lay beneath the surface. For Mia, the ocean was a source of endless fascination and wonder. From a young age, she had been drawn to its depths, captivated by the colorful array of marine life that called it home. And now, armed with her snorkeling gear and a sense of adventure, she was determined to explore every corner of the underwater world. For hours, Mia lost herself in the underwater landscape, marveling at the kaleidoscope of colors and the diversity of life surrounding her. She swam alongside schools of tropical fish, darting in and out of coral formations with effortless grace. But as the afternoon wore on and the sun began to dip below the horizon, Mia's attention turned to a different kind of discovery: a sunken shipwreck, its hulking silhouette looming ominously in the distance. Intrigued by the sight, Mia felt excitement as she swam closer, her curiosity piqued by the possibility of uncovering hidden treasures and secrets from the past. But as she drew nearer to the shipwreck, a sense of unease settled over her, a feeling that she was not alone in the depths. And then, with a sudden and terrifying clarity, Mia spotted it. A massive, great white shark, its sleek form gliding effortlessly through the water with deadly intent. Panic surged through Mia's veins as she realized she was face to face with one of the ocean's most fearsome predators, its cold, dead eyes fixed upon her with a hunger that sent shivers down her spine. Instinct took over as Mia scrambled to evade the shark's relentless pursuit. Her heart was pounding in her chest as she darted through the dark and treacherous depths of the ocean floor. The predator grew closer with each passing moment, its mighty jaws snapping shut just inches from her heels. But Mia refused to give up without a fight. Drawing on every ounce of strength and courage, she navigated the maze of coral formations and rocky outcrops, using every trick in her arsenal to outmaneuver the relentless predator. Mia's lungs burned with exertion as the minutes stretched into eternity, her breath coming in ragged gasps as she fought to stay ahead of the shark's relentless pursuit. But just when all hope seemed lost, a glimmer of light appeared on the horizon, a sign of hope in the darkness. With renewed determination, Mia pushed herself to the limit, propelling herself toward the surface with a single-minded focus on survival. Finally, she breached the water, gasping for air as she broke free. As Mia emerged from the water, her chest heaving with exertion, the salty breeze brushing against her flushed cheeks, she was consumed by a profound appreciation for the vastness of the ocean and its creatures. The rush of adrenaline still coursing through her veins, she couldn't shake the awe that filled her heart. Returning to her family on the shore, Mia recounted her thrilling encounter with the ocean's wonders. However, her parents' response was unexpected and harsh. They chastised her for her absence from church, attributing her perilous experience to divine retribution for her transgressions. Despite her protestations, they insisted that her ordeal served as a wake-up call, a consequence for straying from the path of righteousness. Shaken by her parents' condemnation and conflicting emotions, Mia was drawn to the church's doors with a newfound sense of urgency. Seeking solace and forgiveness, she immersed herself in the rituals and teachings of her faith, hoping to appease a higher power and express her gratitude for being spared from harm. Mia found comfort in prayer and reflection in the quiet sanctuary of the church. Each visit became a testament to her newfound devotion and humility, a way to reconcile her reverence for the ocean with her family's expectations of religious piety. Through her faith, she sought redemption and found solace in believing that a higher purpose guided her life.